Hey, gang, I am feeling like a big mocker this morning. I had Detroit, and I didn't even need the 4 points. I'm even wearing, like, Detroit colors, the blue and white uniform today. And I have proof. Put it up on the screen for the benefit of our YouTube friends. TC, this is my, I don't see it yet. There it is. There's the receipt, my 25 large that I had on Detroit over Kansas City last night.
25 large.
25 large. It's right there. I can see it on the screen.
25 large isn't $25. That's $25.
It's large to me. Do you see the proof?
Yes, I see
you
your
see
receipt.
The proof.
You got the payout. I see that.
Yeah.
I am horrified that you bet against Kansas City.
Well, that's the wrong way to look at it. I don't look at that.
After watching the
Patrick Mahomes?
Yeah.
In the quarterback series?
Thank you.
Well, maybe it's because I knew a little something.
I
knew a little something.
You're with your 25 large.
Yeah. Now I have to be honest. I can't stay up late. So I went to bed. at halftime. And
this gets better and better. You're a real fan.
The first thing I checked this morning was the outcome of the game. I'm like, Detroit 21, KC 20, yeah! Because for me, it was 25-20 because I had the 4 points.
25 large.
And I didn't even need them. My listeners in Michigan, yeah, they're loving the outcome of that game. And they're also loving the Play Gun Lake Casino and Sportsbook app, the only app that I recommend in the great state of Michigan. Download the Play Gun Lake Casino app right now and get all your favorite casino games right at your fingertips. Odds and slots and bets and games in the palm of your hand. Casino comes wherever you are. I mean, that's the beauty of it. Like, you know, and to have some skin in the game like I did last night, it makes it so much more enjoyable, at least for me. Great offer for new listeners. Download the Play Gun Lake Casino app right now and get up to a $1,000 casino bonus back if you're down in the first 24 hours. Play Gun Lake Casino and Sportsbook app. The new users deal is got to be wagered. Right. Casino bonus must be wagered. Terms and conditions apply. See the website at playgunlake.com for all the details. You've got to be 21 and in Michigan. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Michigan Problem Gambling Helpline is 1-800-270-7117. Time now for some Friday headlines from the Smerconish.com daily newsletter. A bad CNN poll for Joe Biden. And I have to say, just like right at the outset in summarizing the poll, it's not a one-off. Okay, it's not an outlier. It's not Rasmussen. It's not some pollster that you could say, oh, you know, they're biased toward Republicans. I don't know that Rasmussen is, by the way. Maybe I shouldn't use them as an example, but people often say that. No, it's a CNN poll, and it's bad for Biden. I was on CNN early this morning talking about it. As a matter of fact, the way the segment was supposed to go is that they were going to ask me the question of who had the more challenging week, Biden versus Trump. They never asked that question. My answer would have been Biden. Because, among other things, what most ails Biden are things that can't be fixed. His approval rating, according to this survey, is at just 39%. He's tied. He's a statistical tie with Donald Trump, 47-46. I don't even remember who has 47 and who has 46. It doesn't matter. They're tied. But worse for Biden than the tie is that when people are asked a question, how are things going, and your choice is well or badly, it's a 70-30 split, and people say things are going badly. More than 60% of Democrats want somebody else. 61% think that he was involved with Hunter's business. That's 61% of all voters. What I said a moment ago, what ails him most can't be fixed, is based on this. 76% are seriously concerned that age might impact his ability to serve another full term. 73% are seriously concerned that he'll have the mental or physical competence necessary to complete a second term. So it's the age issue. And there's a looming potential strike on the horizon for the big three automakers and the UAW. There are domestic issues and there are international issues, the war in Ukraine. They're going to ebb and they're going to flow. But what's not going to change is the perception of his frailty. And if that's the perception today, when he's 80, remember, he's got to sell on the prospect of him being able to lead when he's 86. 6 years. 5.5 years on from where we are. That doesn't get better. So Democrats have a ticking time clock to try and, come to terms with this and see what they're going to do. Are they just going to sit back? Because if they sit back and they do nothing, then Kamala Harris, if Joe ultimately decides not to go, is in the pole position. The poll question today at Smerconish.com asks whether Democrats need a competitive nomination fight to identify their strongest Trump opponent. I was inspired by the exclusive content today at Smerconish.com by my friend, the law professor and trial lawyer Shane Inspector, who has a really compelling essay. And the reason it's so compelling is that Shane, who, first and foremost on his own 2 feet, as a law professor, as a trial lawyer, is a very accomplished individual. He's also a son of United States Senator Arlen Specter, the late, great Arlen Specter, Pennsylvania's longest-serving U.S. senator. And Specter and Biden had a very close and personal relationship. They rode that train together. You always hear about Joe on the train. Well, guess what? Joe would get off at Wilmington coming north, and Arlen would continue on to 30th Street Station. And the exclusive content today at Smerconish.com is Shannon's essay, which begins with him saying, "I love Joe Biden." So it's not a hit piece on Biden. But what Shannon argues is that, in his mind, there is a serious threat posed by Donald Trump. He does not want Trump to be elected. And he loves Biden. But he thinks there's got to be a competitive process. That there need to be individuals on that stage now competing for the nomination. And only through that process can we determine who's the best among the Democratic candidates, including Joe Biden. He's got to fight for it. If it's a coronation, it's in nobody's best interest. Read that piece. Read that piece. Relative to Trump, I mean, all I can say, and I'll be back on this tomorrow on CNN, is that he's benefited from every one of these indictments. I have the Colorado Secretary of State booked on my show tomorrow because in Colorado, a legal challenge has now been filed that would knock Trump off the primary ballot in Colorado. It's the first of what we've been anticipating, these 14th Amendment challenges, saying that because he engaged in insurrection, he can't be on the ballot. And my argument is this will benefit him too. In the same way, this is like challenge number 5. If you think that the Republicans who rallied to him with each indictment aren't going to rally to him with this as well, I think you're mistaken. I have a cheat sheet in front of me with 3 numbers on it. 59% of Wall Street Journal Republican respondents said they're for Trump. 59% is his standing, according to the Wall Street Journal. Reuters in August, 51% of Republicans say violent left-wing extremists were responsible for the events of January 6th. The Atlanta Journal-Constitution and University of Georgia poll finds that 61% of Republicans think there was widespread fraud in 2020. Put it all together, and the point is Trump is saying things that you might find objectionable, but Republicans are agreeing with. And now if he gets challenged for the 5th time on a legal basis, it'll only help him. Yesterday, poll results from Smerconish.com with 20,576 having voted. Will Hunter Biden's ultimate legal outcome be too harsh, too soft, or appropriate? People went with the porridge answer. 54.52% said when all is said and done, it will be appropriate. Okay, more headlines from the Smerconish.com Friday edition of the newsletter. TC, tell me what interests you.
I have to say that this is a really serious topic, but it's one that I find fascinating, which is how do you label things? And Republicans, evidently, according to NBC News, are trying to find a new term for pro-life. They think the term pro-life is not helpful in their in electability, and so they're trying to make it stronger. Someone suggested the term pro-baby. In other words, they're trying to tie it more significantly to what it is or what they perceive it to be, because they think pro-choice is more of a like, well, I want choice. I want to be able to choose. That's something that is a positive thing. And they don't think that pro-life is strong enough for their message.
You would think being for life on this, which is saleable, would be a good message.
Right.
But it's not.
It's not.
They're losing right now. And it reminds me, and I always use this example, maybe it's time for me to come up with a better one, but I think of Frank Luntz and the estate tax, which he labeled the death tax, and that was a winner.
Yep.
And that was an absolute winner.
Well, they need to give him a call. I'm not sure what he'll say, but they need to give him a call for sure.
I think the problem that they have is that when you hear pro-life, you assume that it would consider no exceptions, and there are people who are pro-life who believe in exceptions, rape and incest among them. I can't say they all do, but they've got to come up with something that allows for nuance.
Yes. Yeah, well said.
Look, I mean, one other thing, if I may.
It's a losing issue right now for them.
It is a losing issue.
I mean, that's the bottom line.
It is a losing issue. I mean,
semantics aside.
The Democrats benefit from the motivation that comes from the abortion issue. No doubt that's on their side of the ledger. Republicans have crime. Republicans have the economy and border. But each side has, beyond the personalities of Trump and Biden, each side has some motivating factors in their quiver of arrows.
Yeah, well said. All right, go on another one?
Yeah.
We got to go to the weather. It's hot out there. I'm not going to lie to you.
You told me today was
No, I gave you fake news. Remember, I emailed you yesterday. I did email you yesterday and corrected myself because I said it was going to break today when we were together yesterday, and I was wrong. It's going to break tomorrow. And when I say break, it's going to be 89 instead of 95.
And then what?
That's just only like the official break. It's just, this is unbelievable. And people are broiling.
Hottest summer on record.
Yep.
Hottest summer on record.
I'm ready for fall.
Are you?
Oh, yeah.
Hottest,
I have been for a while.
I don't like what we've just gone through this week, and another hurricane is on the horizon.
Hurricane Lee is a monster right now, but we're going to be hearing about Hurricane Lee for a long time. A meteorologist yesterday on CNN said by the time this thing hits land, we're all going to be so sick of it but it's enormous. The scale of it is so big. Right now it's a hurricane category 5, sustained winds of 160 miles an hour, but it's out there in the middle.
Where's it headed?
They don't know. I mean, they think that it's going to skim the islands, maybe hit Bermuda, maybe hit Turks and Caicos, and then come up the East Coast, and it just depends.
So I think, and I will be into this next week, maybe as soon as Monday, I think that where the climate issue, where climate change and extreme weather, where the rubber meets the road is in insurance, in homeowner insurance. Oh. There was a great piece in the Washington Post a couple of days ago. Jacob Bagoge wrote it. Headline, Home Insurers Cut Natural Disasters from Policies as Climate Risks Grow. And this is what's going to bring the issue home for people, because you got to have insurance on your property. I guess if you have no mortgage and you're so foolish as to not cover insurance, your mortgage company is going to demand that you have insurance. If you have no mortgage, I don't know who those folks are who don't have a mortgage, but okay, God bless them. Then if you choose not to have insurance, you can make that decision. But everybody basically has to have insurance. And now you've got the major insurers saying we can't underwrite in these areas that are repeatedly afflicted with hurricanes and wind and hail, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I don't know how that gets resolved, but that is really going to focus this issue. And next week I'll, in fact, sadly, because of Hurricane Lee coming, it's the perfect time for me to have that conversation.
From NPR at Smerconish.com, why auto workers are asking for a 46% pay raise as a potential strike looms over the Detroit 3 automakers. The UAW, United Auto Workers Union, is pushing for a substantial pay raise for its members, 46% over 4 years.
Maybe an opportunity for the president, who regards himself as the most pro-labor president ever, to get involved and try and bring about some resolution. That's really all I can say about it now.
Another workplace story.
Yeah.
What is going on at The Tonight Show?
Oh, with Jimmy Fallon. And I just watched Jimmy Fallon host the Rolling Stones.
I love him.
Okay, what's the deal?
What's
They
going
have
on?
a crying room. I think we need a crying room.
We definitely need less crying room than when I first started working here, but we definitely need a crying room.
So what's the worst of it?
The worst of it is he possibly coming to work drunk? And it seems that it's like good Jimmy night and bad Jimmy night, and he's erratic, and it's a toxic workplace.
But is he
a
nasty guy?
He can be.
When he's hammered?
Those are the allegations. I don't know. This is what they're saying.
Look,
anonymity.
The worst, as bad as it gets for me in that state, is I just say I love you long time. So it's all good. It's all good.
You cannot say things like that.
Okay.
You can't. Just take that. I know that's what you first think of. You got to just take that out of your mind. I am begging you. Oh, goodness. Yeah. So anyway, these anonymous current employers, former staffers said that it's been toxic, I'm quoting now, behind the scenes for years, from Fallon's erratic behavior to the show's revolving door leadership teams. There have been 9 showrunners, that's the head guy, in the past 9 years.
Wow.
Two employees.
Wow.
Two employees.
One a year?
Told the publication that Fallon seemed drunk at work in 2017. Another pair of workers claimed to have smelled alcohol on the host's breath in an elevator on separate occasions in 2019 and 2020. Ex-staffers described the show as a tense and, quote, pretty glum atmosphere where some were bullied and belittled by bosses, including Fallon.
You know what I'm thinking, TC?
What's that?
He obviously knew. This story is a deep dive by Rolling Stone.
Yes.
He knew it was coming.
Yes.
He has known it was coming. And yet, 2 days ago, Wednesday, I forget what time of day, obviously not in the morning because I'm on air, but I tuned in and I watched Jimmy Fallon host the Rolling Stones live for the launch of their new album from London, which is like the pinnacle. He loves those guys. He loves the music. It was so obvious from the interaction. And now what I'm saying to myself is he had to have been sitting there having the greatest professional moment of his life in that spotlight, knowing
this was about to drop.
This is about to drop.
And he did apologize to the staff. Evidently, he addressed them. This was after this afternoon. So that was on the 7th. So yesterday afternoon, evidently, he addressed his staff and said, "I'm sorry if I embarrassed you. I never set out to create that type of atmosphere at the show. I think sometimes I'm working with the best of the best. You guys are the top of the game." He admitted he had done embarrassing things in the past. "I want this show to be fun. It should be inclusive for everyone. It should be funny. It should be the best. I just wanted to say I miss you guys." So I don't know whether that was too little too late enough, what was going on, but evidently he did address the staff yesterday afternoon. But yeah, for him to have done what he did with that in the back of his head.
I don't get to watch. It's actually not like my viewing habit anyway, but I'm never up to be able to watch the late programming. So what I end up seeing are the clips that make the news.
Well, he just seems to find so much joy in what he does that I always thought, by the way, like Ellen DeGeneres, I thought that would translate behind the scenes, but evidently, you know how I say in homes that in families, you never know what's going on behind closed doors.
Right.
I guess that works out in workplaces as well.
I
just never know.
I can only say this, as one who was in the business, especially television, when it's live and it's compressed and it's a stressful environment. Yeah. It's a stressful environment.
Well, and you're the one that's got the camera on you.
Yeah.
So you've got this whole support staff. But no matter what happens, even if TC makes the mistake, no one knows TC made the mistake. Everyone knows Michael stumbled.
Right.
That's the problem.
Oh, I'm sure that Catherine is sitting on some B-roll of me in a file somewhere of my outbursts.
What do you mean some?
And of course
that montage, we just play it when we just need it.
And what do you think of when you think of television?
Do it live.
We're gonna do it live.
Do it live.
Yeah. Now, have I ever had
we're gonna do it live
moment?
That was a gift to the rest of us. I love
because that was the bar.
I love
and then
that.
everything else is just paling in comparison.
No, because it was just so good.
Yeah, so
It
raw.
was so good.
We're talking about Bill O'Reilly and his famous moment.
And then he clicks right into it. That's
Yeah.
the best part.
Yeah.
That's the best part.
Have I had, we're going to do it live moments? Yes. You've been here. You purport to have been here for like 10 or 11 years now, right?
Approximately.
How many?
21.
20. That can't be true, by the way.
We're not getting any older.
That can't be true.
It's true.
No, it can't. I mean, like, I know we always just say this, but 21
It's
years?
2023. Yes. 20. Yeah. It was like, yes. Truth.
Oh, my God.
I know.
Haven't you had enough?
Yes. For sure. Haven't you?
No, you're not allowed to leave.
If I get my crying room, I'll be fine.
Yeah. No, I've definitely had those moments. Yeah. You've only had a few of those moments.
I haven't had any of those moments. I'm like a duck.
Are you kidding?
I get upset. I don't get angry.
Okay, how about when I'm driving you? How about when I've driven out of my way and I pick you up and I'm taking you to a town hall with like RFK Jr. and halfway there I say, by the way, I'm not coming back to the studio, so I think my son who's going to be there, he'll give you a ride home.
No, actually, what happened was we pulled out of my driveway right then, and you said, "Oh, I can't give you a ride home." And I said, "Stop the car."
I said, I'm going to get you a
"Stop the
ride
car."
home.
I said, "Stop the car." Nope, I'm not dealing with that. Nope, I'll drive
and
myself.
then you Jimmy Falloned me.
I didn't get upset. I just said, "Stop the car," and I got out, walked back, got my car, drove myself.
Okay.
Sometimes you just have to rely on yourself.
All right. Okay.
Hey, before we go, I got to say, 73% is the percentage of the week.
Did you see that in the newsletter?
So did I see it?
Yeah.
I printed it.
Yeah, look at that. So I mean, I don't know if people appreciate this, but it's the open rate. It's actually 72.98% is the open rate for the Smerconish.com daily newsletter.
It's huge.
You have it in front of you. I don't. What are the open rates for the others, the
So
competitors?
the New York Times, 60%.
Okay, that's pretty good.
46%.
Okay.
Washington Post, 35%. And industry average, 20%.
Right. In other words, and I know this, of course I know this, everybody and every outlet has a newsletter these days. The industry average, and people sign up for them. I sign up for them, right? But the average open rate is only 20%.
We got to go on that note.
People just delete them, but ours is 72.98. And we thank you. Listen to TC After Dark, brand new episode. I'll see you on CNN, I hope, tomorrow.